BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top traders. If you sign up with the link in the description, you get a free $100 when you deposit $100. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at XRP on this last day of traditional markets trading before the weekend kicks in. Obviously that means nothing for us in crypto world. XRP seems to be working against the trend, which is fine. So let's have a look at that. So let's stand back and admire what this chart actually likes to do. This is a giant descending triangle. We broke out of this. This is where we started to get really bullish on it. We've consolidated into a 200 exponential and a simple. That's fine. Similar to the way that we first did it on this portion of the bull market. So the bull market had already begun around here. In fact, this was a bull market and XRP wasn't really benefiting from that because it hadn't broken out of its descending triangle, its giant consolidation. That's what it likes to do, and this is just the history that we've got on Binance. If you go on to TradingView, you'll see that this is not the first or the second or the third. This is actually the fourth rodeo, I believe. So let's have a think about what this is actually doing right now. So on a TA basis on the daily, came into that 200 simple moving average. Lots of altcoins were doing this. Loads of them were doing this a couple of weeks ago at the time. And this one is the only one that seems to have actually worked out and ricocheted and bounced up from it. There's probably others, but not that I've seen. So the price action broke out with money flow index, with RSI breakouts from the descending trend lines. So the consolidation would appear to be over, not in just the form of price, but in the form of momentum. And this has probably got further to run. I know that sounds crazy, but it probably does. Now, obviously, Bitcoin's looking relatively weak. So to see and expect a further pullback in markets, probably relatively likely. So let's have a look at the weekly for XRP. Came into a Bollinger Band center. And again, that's where we bounced from today, or this week, should I say. And up to a 200 exponential, but the bulls have the upper hand when we are above a 20 weekly, and we've been above there since we broke out of the triangle. We consolidated into it, now we're bouncing from it. Let's have a look at momentum over here. Again, momentum's fine, momentum's good. Now we had a signal on the 3-day that's going back weeks now, which was a trend continuation signal. Unfortunately, that has been considered to be cancelled now that we've had a blue cross the red, so conversion baseline crossed negative. It's unfortunate. It doesn't necessarily mean the end of the world, but it is unfortunate. The way to get out of an itchy signal is when you get them, you take the position. If you see a negative cross or the cheeky span touch price action, you get out. So this one looks as though it's kind of failed. However, you don't have to exit just on one. You could exit on both. Or either or, whichever happens first, depending on your risk management. But the good thing about this is that because we're still, the cheeky span is above the price action, if we can move above and get above like 50 to, up into the 50s again, we're likely going to see a positive cross take place again above the cloud. So that would be another buy signal for a trend to kick in. And all of this zone up here is considered the exit point, really, from a horizontal perspective. It's quite a large box, anywhere from 60 to 90 cents. So fair enough. Again, momentum on the 3-day looking good. We're not crossed above the 0 point, so we still have to try and close towards the upper 40s, towards 50, for all of this area to be ripe. But it's there. It's there for us to take advantage of. So I quite like the way it looks on the daily. The 3-day is showing promise, waiting for those signals to kick in. And if you really want to I suppose, go a bit harder on this. And again, recognize that Bitcoin is looking a little bit droopy now. We'll look at that in a minute. So XRP on its Bitcoin pair. So we look at this occasionally, especially on the live streams. This big box here is considered like a major buy zone for XRP. We have good reactions from here, good reactions, supports, accumulation, bottoms, a little bit of an anomaly, and then massive accumulation, big breakout, blah, 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 rinse and repeat. And look, we came down to the bottom of it again, and that's where we've bounced from. So it is I suppose, a golden area, really, for XRP to be bought in, anywhere from the top to the bottom of this range, starting from 1,500 sats, ending at around about 1,700 sats. So quite a small range if you consider, what could take place after buying this zone. Now, look, I'm not looking for XRP to make stupid, ridiculous highs straight away, or making stupid, ridiculous highs full stop. But I do look at it as something that does have a cycle of its own that likes to repeat. I've talked about this many times, made videos about it many times. And that, I believe, is what's happening at the moment. So we're having a rinse and repeat cycle of XRP. And it seems to me like it's happening a little earlier than it would normally happen, but it's okay for it to do its thing. It's fine based on its own chart. It's actually looking okay. Now, when it comes to the daily on the tether pair, we're above all major moving averages, which is something that you won't find on altcoins at the moment. And with that comes supports, many supports below us. 45 being the first major one, 43.5, all the way back down to about 41. So lots and lots of supports for us to bounce from and continue up. Now, if we really wanted to, you could try to force a descending trend, so a breakout of a triangle. And that is the case. We've broken out of there at the same time that we broke out of the descending trend line on Money Flow Index and RSI, which doesn't mean that it goes straight up. We could see a double bottom form, and that's where we move up to. So these are all opportunities for those who want to try and trade it. Don't try and go mad because we see strength in XRP, especially when there's weakness in the overall market. But it's definitely one to highlight on your favorites list, because when you stand back and look at all altcoins and all charts and all crypto, XRP is doing something different, and it did do something different in the beginning. It did something different over here. Altcoins weren't doing this. XRP ran quite hard and heavy on its own, more or less. So it does do its own thing. So if anything, it's a good diversifier. Although we shouldn't expect massive gains from it. Maybe a 10x at the end of this full cycle. But if the 10x does materialize, in the same way that we see its own market cycle sort of move up and then consolidate for an inordinate amount of time, we could see a 10x on XRP within a 6 to 18 month period, which is, way before all the others. So if that is the case, if that's what the sort of thing that it's looking to do again, and again, I'm not just basing this on, just off nothing. This is how it runs. It does the majority of its time consolidating from its previous high, and then, quite a short period of time really going parabolic. But for the most part, it's in an uptrend for around about a year. So we're already seeing the change of behavior after breaking out of its giant consolidation, and if anything, we should be looking for this to actually peak before all the other altcoins peak like it did last time. So when it comes to hodling, you could hodl XRP, wait for that peak, sell it, and then put it into other things which have not got close to peaking. So that is a good way to try and play this, again, between a 6 to an 18 month period to see that peak. And this is just, like I say, based on its previous market cycle. But on the short-term timeframes, it does still look good. If Bitcoin can hold this level or move up, it will look better. If it pulls back down with Bitcoin moving into the 25,000s, which we'll think about now, it should still even give you the opportunity to double bottom around that trend line around 41 cents. So yeah, Bitcoin looking pretty tired now on the daily, below all major moving averages. That's fine, with a view to probably come down to around about 25 or just a little lower. But based on the weekly, there's still plenty of supports below us, so I wouldn't get too concerned about it. 200 weekly sitting 26,200, 50 exponential 25,007, Bollinger Band Center just above 25, and then your 200 exponential around 24,200. So I'm not massively bothered about whatever it is that Bitcoin decides it wants to do. At this point now, we're still holding above this previous zone that we bounced from. Again, that is an intermediate zone of support. I wouldn't really hold too much weight on it, although it has, again, currently on this 4 hourly managed to remain above it. So we've got the first initial bounce, this one a bit deeper, but still looks reasonable to me that we could expect a reaction from here. But let's face it, it's a downtrend. There's your death cross. We haven't yet touched the 200 exponential or as a death cross retest. It's something that we could hold out for to take a short position to see if we get rejected around here. If we do seem to find some kind of major rally, it could just be a liquidity grab all the way up to 27,700 or 800, and then down from there, being a standard death cross retest that takes us down to a new local low on a shorter term time frame. But other than that, the main focus here is XRP, and we should expect much greater things from it. It's actually pretty sweet for those who have the patience to trade it. You know, this has been the ultimate buy, back down at the buy zone, obviously. And the chart itself on the tether pair, pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable. Keep a close eye on it anyway, because the trend on the 4 hourly for its tether pair hasn't really gained proper strength, but we would, by the looks of things, by next week have a golden cross, maybe a retest of that. There's plenty of ways to trade this depending on the overall price action of the market, but I think up is the most likely scenario for XRP. We might see it outperform almost everything of any significance, at least anyway, over the next month or two. Right, thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.